I'm Stephanie Alexander, and today I'm reading from my memoir. And my memoir really is about my life as a writer and the things I've done, as well as being a restaurateur. It's hard to believe that Brunswick Street, which today is so crammed with cafes and restaurants, was virtually a desert in 1976. Other than Mietta's at the far northern end, a pizza place across the road, a small cafe called Mother Tucker's near the Johnson Street corner, there were few shops. But I shouldn't forget the delightful Italian general store and deli, owned by Mr. and Mrs. Pizziola, both of whom were charming and of very generous proportions. They made us equally generous sandwiches stuffed with provolone and mortadella, which kept us going in the early days of the renovations and the clean-up. The rest of the street I remember as having a few small factories, some general shops, the post office, and at night it was quite dark. The first Stephanie's lasted 4 years, 4 momentous years, both for me and for Melbourne. I had been cooking non-stop all through my 6 years at Princes Hill Secondary College, including classes I held at home. My friends were accustomed to endless invitations to eat at my place. Morris and I had also visited almost every restaurant of repute in Melbourne, often with Tony and Mietta. We would discuss other people's menus, their decor, their service staff, and their prices. The restaurant that stood head and shoulders above all others, as far as we were concerned, was Herman and Fay Schneider's Two Faces in South Yarra. Here were restaurateurs who knew how to construct a menu with style, could always surprise, always use the freshest, best quality and most appropriate item for the season. True food lovers always looked at the specials list first of all. You might find a civet of hare, a duck with black cherries, a goose, something garnished with braised celeriac or unusual mushrooms, or a dessert that featured fresh green almonds or white currants. I rather hoped I could eventually come somewhere near what was being achieved at Two Faces, a daring thought from someone who had never had a formal cooking lesson in her life. What was in my mind? I loved to cook, I loved planning menus. After my time in France, and especially in its family-style country restaurants, I felt impatient to express myself in a similar way. I had supreme confidence in my ability to cook for a crowd and to do it well. I found it surprising that others doubted I would succeed. Failure did not even cross my mind. Not for the first time, I am puzzled that I could have boundless confidence in my abilities on the one hand, and within minutes, or when faced with a serious hurdle, could plunge into a feeling of despair, which rapidly morphed into believing that the project was doomed and pointless. Fortunately, once I had plunged to the depths, I usually resolved to fight back and develop a new strategy. I wanted to do it, so I would do it, and would cope more or less well with the consequences.